everyone to the Cheltenham Countdown channel here on YouTube. Another weekly edition, a weekly preview episode leading us into the weekend. Looking forward to the big action, the big meetings across the 3 days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday this week, which are Newbury, Newcastle and Fairyhouse. That's what I'm going to be focusing on this week's episode. It'll be a quick show today, guys, I hope, as I've only got 6 races from those 3 meetings to look to preview and sort of analyse and speed through. Some other horses I will note that may run across the weekend that I want you to keep aware of, just so I think they may go well, and ones that you can note down. And obviously, as you know, the best bets do come at the end of the video. So if you do want to fast forward to the end, just skip through the timestamp and you will see the best bets at the end of this video. Also, I'll just quickly mention, how about that race at Punchestown on Sunday in the John Durkan between 2 very good horses at the top of their game. A brilliant battle between Gaelic Warrior and Factifile. Thank God Willie Mullins pitched them both in against each other. Otherwise, it would have been a Gaelic Warrior, a masterclass. He would just run away with the race, wouldn't he? But he did pitch them against each other. Factifile made it a great race that it was, but Gaelic Warrior did prevail and could be an early Christmas present perhaps for us. Could we see another rematch between these two at Kempton on Boxing Day? That's what we've got to wait for. But that's the kind of action we want to see all season, because there are so many superstars in the National Hunt game, and those two are definitely superstars. I'll begin with the Rebound on the show, mentioning a few other horses and their chances for March at Cheltenham that have run in the last week or so. Some big horses did run last weekend as well, so I'll note them down. I have noted them down and I'll mention them in this video. On this preview episode, guys, is like I said, the Coral Gold Cup, the formerly known as the Hennessy, highlights Newbury's 2-day bonanza there, brilliant 2-day meeting at Newbury. The Fighting Fifth Hurdle at Newcastle, arguably the matchup of this weekend, is happening there in that Grade 1, and 2 Grade 1s out in Ireland at Fairyhouse, the Hatton's Grace Hurdle and the Drinmore Novices Chase. So it's a massive show. Like I said, I'll go through as quick as I can. I won't keep you guys too long, but this is the latest weekly edition, the weekly preview episode on the Cheltenham Countdown channel. So it's the Rebound starting the show this week, and as you know, I do the Rebound every week with a view to Cheltenham in March. See who can go well from the last week for a specific race or a Grade 1 or a handicap or whatever come March time. I'll also do the handicaps closer to the time, because we don't know where these horses that may have won a handicap in the last couple of weekends may be pitched in come March. They may have dropped a couple of ratings, dropped a couple of few marks, or gone up in the ratings and maybe pitched into a different race come the festival. So we'll forget about the handicaps for now. We'll stick to the Grade 1s, and where else to start other than the Champion Hurdle market. And how impressive was she? Lossiemouth has to go there, doesn't she? She's proven for so long. She's too good for the mares. Way too good. The Champion Hurdle is the target of the season, right? It just has to be. We'll see what happens this weekend in the Fighting Fifth, which I'll come on to later. More of that in a due course. But she's already favoured for the Champion Hurdle at the moment too, which I think is fair, to be perfectly honest. I do think it's fair. 8 Grade 1s. She's won 8 Grade 1s already at the age of 6. That just think about that. That's incredible. She'll be kept to Irish races until Cheltenham, I think, this season, and that's probably a given. That statement is out for the season already, as we know. And I think it's now or never for the feature race on day 1 of the festival, if connections are to send her there, or to, unfortunately, the Mares Hurdle, which is still a good race nonetheless, but it's not the Champion Hurdle. We wanted to be in the Champion Hurdle day 1 of the festival in that 2-mile blockbuster Grade 1 on the old course. That's what we want. I think she'll end up going there personally. We just needed to win the whole lot in Ireland this season before she gets to the festival, and we'll be sound. We'll be there, guys. Lossiemouth will be in the Champion Hill next season. I'm pretty sure of it. So that's my opinion. But what does Willie Mullins think? What does Rich Ritchie think? That's all that matters, I think. What does Paul Townend have in his thoughts? So I personally think after the Morgiana on Saturday, we have the rightful favourite at the moment for the race. And if the race was tomorrow and Lossiemouth was the favourite, nobody would argue about it. So let's just hope she wins all her Grade 1s in Ireland for the rest of the season, and I'm guessing she'll be ending up in the Champion Hurdle with another mare on the Rebound this week. And what we're going to mention Woodhoo now. Woodhoo for Gordon Elliott, who won at Ascot last Saturday in the Ascot Hurdle. She won it really well. She didn't look like the eventual winner coming around the bend at Ascot. She did look a bit sluggish, as if she was behind the bridle a bit, but she picked up and had that gap in between and never looked back. An easy winner for Gordon Elliott. Well trained and a good opportunity found for that win on Saturday. I think she's tailor-made for a mare's hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. We have had some interviewers and sort of public opinion where she might be going at the festival next March, such as the Champion Hurdle or the Stayers Hurdle. I think slotting her in halfway to the mare's hurdle, 2.5 miles on what is now going to be the new course at Cheltenham next Thursday of the festival, day 3, is perfect for Woodhull. It'll be course and distance from when she won the Martin Pipe last season. The only issue at the moment, I think she's 9-4 best price, which is a bit short for her this time of the year, unless she goes and wins everything else in her path until the end of the season. Then will she even go to the race? Will she be sent to a Champion Hurdle or Stayers Hurdle? We wait to see. We wait to find out about that. But at the moment, I think the mare's hurdle is a perfect slot for her, a good path for her to get her deserved Grade 1 that she at the festival that she deserves. So Gordon Elliott has decisions to make. People have asked him about the Champion Hurdle. Is she good enough for a Champion Hurdle against the likes of Lossiemouth, against the likes of the New Line and Constitution Hill, who we'll see this weekend? Obviously, things will depend on that race. But I personally think slotting her in halfway between the Champion Hurdle and the Stayers Hurdle, the mare's hurdle, 2.5 miles, a Grade 1 against her own sex, is ideal for her. Connections probably, I think, will think the same come closer to the time. But she won the Ascot Hurdle really well, in fact. So it was a good training good training performance from Gordon Elliott, and I think that's her opportunity now to go to the mare's hurdle on the rebound. This is about the Gold Cup picture, the blue ribbon event, the centrepiece of the Cheltenham Festival from the last 7 days in terms of which horses have sort of boasted their chances, have come out from nowhere and think they have a chance to win the Gold Cup. My question to you guys is, did we learn a whole lot for the Gold Cup sort of picture from last weekend, or did we not? I'm going to put it out there and say we didn't learn a whole pile personally. That's just my honest opinion, guys. You will have your opinions and differ. That's fine. Put it in the comments if you think there's a new Gold Cup candidate, a new Gold Cup contender in line to win the race come March. I'll run you through the horses and who I think have stand their chances in good stead and who haven't going forward now. The first one, we start off with the reigning Gold Cup champion. I know the way I'm thinking for Gavin Cromwell. We knew he was going to be better equipped in the spring, following any sort of run in the John Durkan. He finished 4th or 5th, I think. So, did we learn a whole pile from his race on Sunday? It was over 2 miles, 3 furlongs. He wasn't going to be that competitive, I didn't think. I don't think that was his main race of the season. We know he's going to be primed and trained to the max for the Gold Cup. So, did we learn a whole lot from him? Is he probably going to be better equipped in the spring? Yes, probably, but we knew that already. Now, back to Haydock on Saturday. And the winner of the Betfair Chasing Grade Owning. I probably had an idea he was going to be Britain's main hope, Britain's main chance of a Gold Cup winner come March. And is he now a realistic shot at Britain's main hope again for the Gold Cup crown? Yes, but we knew that already. That's the sort of scenario I'm trying to give to you guys. Like, did we learn a whole lot from the weekend or did we not? Did much really change in the Antipus market other than the Gaelic Warriors price going down slightly? No, nothing much did change. I think Gaelic Warriors now an 8-1 shot, but he was only 10-1, 12-1 max before that, so not much has changed in the Antipus markets. I guess the only thing I think that I know for a fact that won't be sort of primed or even running in the race come March is Haiti Cooler for Rebecca Curtis, unfortunately. I don't think that was his best sort of run in the Betfair Chase on Saturday. I think now he's probably going to be campaigning more of a Grand National type in April and instead of a Gold Cup. That's probably what I learned, and going forward I learned more from the weekend. So I don't think we'll learn the whole pile personally. More will be unravelled later in the season. But for now, and in my opinion, for me, there are only really roughly 4 horses that can win a Gold Cup this season. I'll leave you with that. I think there are only 4 horses that can win a Gold Cup. I won't say who. I may give you a little sneak. It could be Gallop in the shop, but you know that already, don't you? I think the Gold Cup is going to be left to 4 horses. Not necessarily 4 will run in the race. There will be more runners, but I think only 4 can potentially. The horse I just want to touch on, and we have mentioned him slightly earlier on in the video with regards to the Cheltenham Festival from the last 7 days in the rebound, is Factophile. I do think Factophile is going to be the shortest price favourite at next year's festival, in my honest opinion. He will be probably an odds-on shot come the day in the Ryanair Chase. That's where I think he's going to end up going to. I can't see him running in the Gold Cup, in my honest opinion. We know Willie Mullins has a stranglehold of that race with his top chasers. We also know JP McManus as the reigning hero with Gavin Cromwell in another way of thinking. So there's a sort of, you can see the impact. If Factor File goes there, a lot will determine on who goes to the Ryanair. It's just going to get a bit messy then, I think, in terms of who runs where for the trainers and the owners, JP McManus. So if JP leaves the reigning Gold Cup hero in the Gold Cup race, and leaves the reigning Ryanair hero in the Ryanair Chase race, then I think he'll be happy with that. So going back to the horse in Factor File, he could be the hardest favourite to take on in next year's festival, in my opinion. I think he'll be the shortest price favourite of the week, and wouldn't put him past him to be winning it for a second time in a row. So I'm going to leave you with that on the Rebound this week. Those sort of 4 parts of the Rebound I've just inlined in this video. And going forward, I'll continue to do the Rebound every week with a view from the previous 7 days, with a view to the Cheltenham Festival. Race on the weekend preview that I'm going to look forward to for the weekend is at Newbury on Friday, guys. At 1:50 it is the Grade 2 John Francome Novices Chase over 2.5 miles. And the market is as follows. Wendigo is the favourite for Gavin Sheehan, Jamie Snowden at 2-1. Then you have Regent Stroll 9-4, Kingston Pride 9-2, No Questions Asked 11-2, Crest of Fortune 14-1, and King of Kingsfield is outside at 28-1. I found this race quite tough to try and break down and pick a winner from. I'm gonna narrow it down to 2 horses. I think either Regent Stroll or No Questions Asked is gonna win. One of those 2 horses I think will win. I'll probably side with Regent Stroll, probably just. Only because Paul Nickers is just slowly getting back into form now. He had a dip in at the beginning of the month, but I think he's had a couple of winners today. If you're watching on Thursday, a couple of winners today from Taunton. He's getting back into form slowly with Harry Cobden in the saddle doing well. Obviously, Ben Pauling's in flying form with No Questions Asked, and Ben Jones will ride him as well. So I think it's between those 2 horses. I'll probably side with Regent Stroll just based on what I think connections have said about him earlier in the season, the last few months, and what they think that the potential of the horse is and what he will go on to do. So if he is to be that good, I think he'll take all the beating here. But No Questions Asked won't be no easy horse to put aside. He's a good battler. He won his first race of the season this year as well. So he will be probably an each way alternative if you do want to back him each way at 11-2. Obviously, he may go higher in price, but for now, my selection will be Regent Stroll. I'm afraid I can't have Wendigo over 2.5 miles. I just think that's going to be too quick for him. There's a lot of jumping in Newbury over the Newbury track as well. You've got the 4 fences in the home straight as well as the cross fence beforehand. So it's going to take a lot of jumping and travelling, who travels the best. And I'm not saying Wendigo doesn't travel or jump really good. I just think Regent Stroll, based on what we've heard, schools well, is going to be a better chase than what it was Hurdler. And he's got a good jockey and a good trainer combination as well. So I will side with Regent Stroll and No Questions Asked. If the price does get a bit easier to back, I will side with him. This race to preview is the long distance hurdle, same day, same track, 3 o'clock on Friday at Newbury, just over 3 miles and half a furlong trip. Impose Trois is the market leader at 15-8 for Nico de Boinville, Nicky Henderson and JP McManus. Then you have strong leader 11-4. Take No Chances is 6-1 for the Skeltons. Doddy the Great 8-1. Hewick 8-1 and Ahoy Senor. And Botox Haas are the 2 outsiders of the race at 16-1 and 40-1 respectively. So again, not a massive view on the race. I do think Impose Trois is going to win. I think he'll win and become a good Stayers Hurdle prospect for the rest of the season. If he does win this, he definitely will be a Stayers Hurdle prospect. Well, anyway, so if he puts away strong leader on a flat galloping track over this trip, you're going to have to consider him a Stayers Hurdle contender. So that's my view from the race. He's backed as if he is going to win the race. 15-8 favour is very short. Take No Chances had a decent reappearance from Weatherby as well earlier in the season. Then you have Doddy the Great, Hewick in there as well. Hewick could be a fly in the ointment. He likes good soft ground, likes a bit of ease in the ground. So he could be a bit of a difficult one to put aside as well, because he likes better ground rather than cut in the ground. So Shark Hanlon has said that he'll probably stay hurdling for the rest of the season. So could be an each way alternative, an each way shot at 8-1 as well. So I think if I were to back anyone, it could be Hewick each way, but that's just taking a bit of a risk, thinking he's back to full form after his disappointing run at Weatherby in the Charlie Hall. So I'll probably leave this race alone, but I think the worthy and rightful winner will probably be Impose Etoile for JP McManus, Nico de Boinville, and Nicky Henderson, who have a big, big day. Moving on to Saturday at Newbury, and it's the feature race of the entire meeting there. The Coral Gold Cup Handicap Chase, a brilliant field assembled in this handicap race as well, guys. Over 3 miles and a quarter. 21 fences will be jumped at Newbury on Saturday. We hope, obviously, unless low sun. I don't think there'll be any low sun come this time of the year, guys. So 21 fences will be jumped. 2:55 at Newbury on Saturday. The market is headed by Mayertown at 5-1. Resplendent Grey 13-2. The Changing Man is 9-1. Highland 11-1. Katati Dory 11-1. Then is Blizzard of Oz 16-1. Inch House 16-1. Panic Attack 16-1. Spanish Harlem 16-1, Victorino 16-1, and it's 8-1 bar the rest. It's a really good field, guys. 24 runners in the race, which is the max you can get for this race anyway, which is brilliant. A lot of good value to have. I think the only price of a horse I don't think is right is Mayertown at 5-1 for the as a market leader. I don't really want to side with him based on the massive leap he had in the ratings after his Ultima win. I know he won the Ultima really well at the festival, but that's a massive rise in the ratings. So I don't want to have Mayertown first race of the season for him. He did obviously lose his opening race of the season last campaign, so he will come on for any sort of run this weekend. There's a couple of horses in here I like in terms of I may bet. I haven't got an actual selection yet, guys, but I do like Highland for James Bowen and Ryder and Nicky Henderson. He likes flat tracks as well. He has run well at Cheltenham in the past, as well as Kempton. But I think Newbury will suit him as well. Like I said, James Bowen and Ryder for Nicky Henderson. He's currently 11-1. Could be a selection for me on the day. I think Willie Mullins has got a good shout in the race as well. He's got Spanish Harlem, Blizzard of Oz. He's got O'More Park, who's a very interesting type because he has been thought of as and put in line with this race from a while back during the season. I have read William Mullins' Stable Tours, and if you look at O'More Park's line, he does have this race in mind for him. So he's 25-1 at the moment for the race. He could be another good each way alternative. So O'More Park, Highland, and there's one other horse in here I think has a good chance as well. I think that could be Victorino for Charlie Deutsch and Felicia Williams. Finished third in the race last year. Has a good chance. It will come into this race fresh. Off 147 is a bit of a leap in the ratings again for him, following on from last year's run. I think he was 143 last year, up to 147. He will need to settle a bit better. Anyone up with a pace, I think, has a good chance in this race, because if you are far back and get caught by any stragglers or any mistakes from other horses in the race, you're playing catch up. You're really catching your tail then. So I think they're my three. It's going to be a Highland, Victorino, and O'More Park. I hope I've covered all the bases here. And if it is to be soft ground on the day, it's currently good to soft going at the moment over the chase course. So if it is good to soft, I'll probably side with one of those three: Highland, Victorino, or O'More Park in this year's edition of the Coral Gold Cup. Grade 1 to look at this weekend comes from Newcastle on Saturday. 2:00 is where all our eyes and minds will be looking into this race. The Grade 1 Fighting Fifth Hurdle at Newcastle on Saturday. It is going to be a match-up. Potentially not just a 2-horse race, could be a 3-horse race. There are 5 runners in the race anyway. There are 5 runners going to post. But in reality, it should just be a 2-horse race, you'd think. Or can Amsterdam play a part in it? Anyway, I'll run you through the market. Current leader, and money has just come in from a lot at the moment, is the New Line favourite at 7-4. Then you have Constitution Hill at 15-8. Amsterdam 11-4. Then you have Golden Ace, the champion hurdle heroine from last season, 25-1. And the Mean Lion is at 80-1 and completes the field. Is Constitution Hill going to come back to his best? Or is the New Line the new kid on the block? Who knows until 2:00 on Saturday. One thing's for sure, I'm backing Constitution Hill in this race. He is a winner of this race before. We know that. Nicky Henderson, I'm trusting you, Nicky. I'm trusting you, Nicky and Nico, in hoping that you've got this horse back to back to near his best. He needs to be near his best to be able to beat Amsterdam and the New Lion. I have had him in the multiples now for the weekend ahead and for future races, so I hope he does go do the business. You know, for me, he is the horse to beat. He is still the horse to beat in this race, even with the New Lion favourite at the moment. And coming out of Novice company, Constitution Hill is still the horse to beat at the moment, especially in the 2 mile division. Amsterdam is one I want to be kept best watched for the time being. He could easily go and be an absolute superstar and win this race. Who knows? For Paul Townend and Willie Mullins and the Donnellys, but I'd rather watch him and see how he does fare against two really good hurdlers in this race. So my money's going to be on Constitution Hill. I hope he wins this race for a second time. Nick Guinness has won it a couple of times in the last 2 seasons, well, few seasons as well now. He's won it with Sergino, this horse, Constitution Hill, and Epatante as well of recent memory. He's got a great record in the race, as you know. But is Dan Skelton, has he got another one that he's trained and targeted a horse to a race to the max? He's had the new line penciled in for this race for a while, a long time. And does he have one, the new kid on the block that can be the new superstar in the Champion Hill division? Who knows? I'm just going to, like I said, play some sort of safety sort of way, because you know Constitution Hill is going to be, has won this race before. You know he's ticked the box. He's won the race before. He's a great hurdler in his prime. He's one of the best hurdlers we've ever seen in his prime. So that's another tick. We know he jumps a hurdle well. The only worry is does he still have that mistake in him from the last 2 of his last 3 runnings? Obviously fallen twice at Aintree and Cheltenham and did finish. His worst race of the lot, I think, was at Punjab. We all know that. He finished 5th, but had no way did he look in any sort of good form, and he was no way going to win that race from a while back. So let's just hope he's had a good summer under his belt, a summer under his frame and under his belt. Let's hope he's been trained well. Let's hope he's back jumping so well like he usually does and can put these away. So it's going to be a massive race for connections, I guess, for JP and Michael Buckley and the Donnellys. It's D-Day for them. It's absolutely down to it's a Champion Hill race before the festival. So it's cracking really well. It's the matchup of the weekend. And who is your money on, guys? Who is your money on? Are you siding with the New Lion, Constitution Hill, or are you siding with anyone else? It'd be a tough pick if you are siding with Golden Ace and the main line. No disrespect, but is it going to be a 3-horse race? So that's my selection. Constitution Hill, I hope, and my fingers are crossed, wins this year's Fighting Fifth Hurdle and is back to his best. Grade 1s to look at from Fairyhouse next, guys. Starting off with the Drinmore Novice Chase on Sunday. The time of the race will be 2:05 on Sunday at Fairyhouse. Over 2.5 miles, 2 miles, 4.5 furlongs. The decks aren't out yet for this race, so I won't run you through the market just yet because we don't know who is definitely going to be running. But you do have in the field, in the actual entries, is Romeo Coolio in there for Gordon Elliott, Gold Dancer, Old Man Dingle, Slade Steele, You Ought to Know, Captain Cody, Pied Piper, and Raffles Dolce Vita. They're the only runners that can run in this race. I just wonder who will be finalised in this race tomorrow. If you're watching this on Thursday, the decks will be out on Friday. I don't have a selection again for this race. It's another preview race. I don't have a main selection. I'm interested to see how Slade Steele goes over fences, to be honest. So currently, it'll be running for Henry de Bromhead in the colours of the Robco Silks, which T. Hooper will run later on the card in the Hatton's race. But Romeo Coolio won his beginner's chase at Down Royal very well. Obviously, if there were fair head fences omitted on that race track on that day. But also lost the Fairyhouse in the Grade 1 last season. I remember he lost in the Royal Bond Novice Hurdle last season back at this track. So is coming back to Fairyhouse over 2.5 miles a good thing for Romeo Coolio? Connections have Gordon Elliott has said he's not just a quick horse. He can stay and he is a good jumper. So maybe 2.5 miles is good for him. We'll find out more about him on Sunday. Gold Dancer's already had 3 chase starts and has won them all for Willie Mullins for Jigginstown. So he may be a safer option, I think, at the moment. We have Old Man Dingle who ran really well last time out as well for Owen Griffin. Like I said, Slade Steele and Henry de Bromhead. I'm fascinated to see how he goes over a fence again. So at the moment, I'd probably side with either Gold Dancer or Slade Steele against Romeo Coolio, I'm afraid. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off very short, Romeo Coolio, and I wouldn't want to side with him at whatever price he does go off at if it's very, 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 very short. So I want to take a price on either Gold Dancer or Slade Steele over 2.5 miles, especially at a track that Romeo Coolio did flop at. Second Grade 1 from Fairyhouse on Sundays at 2:36. It's the Bar 1 betting Hatton's Grace Hurdle over 2.5 miles. And T. Hoopu, Ballyburn, Mystical Power, Cashel Day Lad, Maxim and Glenkill. Glenkill comes back in from the Morgiana last weekend. He runs again here. They're the runners that will hopefully all stand their chance in this race come tomorrow's declarations. I'm all over Tihupu. I think he's a very safe option to choose from, considering he's won this race twice. Lost it last year to Lossiemouth, but I'm taking the chance that he's a far better consistent horse than Ballyburn is. Mystical Power is very much going to be going over further this season in the Stayers Hurdle sort of division, you think. So I think this trip is a bit too short for him, although he did run well in the Supreme not so long ago. But I don't think he's the same class as Ballyburn and Tihupu. So against those two, I don't have anything else in the race, but I'm going to go with Tihupu over Ballyburn very, very strongly. I think he's a far better consistent horse than Ballyburn is. Ballyburn was just so in and out over his fences. He was very good in his hurdle days, but going back from fences to hurdles, how he fares in that sort of regard, we'll wait to see. So how does he fare back going over the smaller obstacles? It's going to be interesting. But Tihupu is going to be my selection on Sunday. Whatever price he goes off at, I'll be putting him in my multiples. I can't imagine it'll be over 2-1 max. So I'll take the price whatever he goes off at, and hopefully land a few multiples and doubles and trebles over the course of the weekend. So Tihupu, I hope you go and win the Hatton's Grace Hurdle for Gordon Elliott over Ballyburn and Willie Mullin. Now, just a quick part of the episode where I'm just going to bring you any others to note, any other horses I like to add throughout the weekend, or for the weekend, that could be worth to watch and note down in your notebooks for future reference, or other races during the weekend that could produce a good horse or a good pointer for the rest of the season. So I'm going to kick things off on others to note with a horse called Harbour Island, who runs in the opener at Newbury on Friday. He finished second behind My Daddy Paddy at Carlisle in his first race. Not saying he's going to win this race at Newbury on Friday, but it may boost some sort of that form, as he was one to take out from the Carlisle race too, finishing only 4 lengths behind the eventual winner, My Daddy Paddy. So it'd be an interesting sort of form line from the race at Carlisle. And with regards to the Supreme Novices Hurdle market, My Daddy Paddy is obviously the market leader in the Supreme at the moment. Harbour Island finished second from Carlisle, 4 lengths behind. If he goes and bolts up at Newbury, then the form is there for all to see. So Harbour Island will be the first one you can put in your notebooks. I think it's currently 3-1 in the opening race at Newbury on Friday. Now the second horse to add and to note in this particular section, guys. Firstly, it's a race. There's a 2-mile fillies juvenile listed hurdle race at 1:15 on Friday at Newbury. I quite like the look of. With some fair few promising 3-year-olds in there that you may want to note for future reference in the process, such as there's one for Gordon Elliott, one for Dan Skelton, one for Paul Nichols, and one for John McConnell among the declarations as well. James Owen has 3 in the race, and the one I'll be watching is perhaps his second or third string in the name of Zara Dodville. Now, you may not have heard this horse's name ever before, but hopefully you have now because you're watching this. She won really well at Fakenham last time out on good soft ground, and has decent level of good form out in France too before joining James Owen's yard. The owner of Zara Dodville, the name escapes you at the moment, guys, sorry to say, but is very bullish on this horse. Thinks she can go well in this listed fillies juvenile hurdle race. It's a decent race for these 3-year-old fillies, so whoever does win this, I think it's going to produce a good winner. So it's a race to watch out for, not necessarily a horse to watch out for. It's this race on Friday, the fillies juvenile listed hurdle race at 1:15 on Friday over 2 miles at Newbury is one I quite like the look of. So we've had one horse in Harbour Island at Newbury. I want to note there's one race like the fillies juvenile race. There's one other on Saturday, a race at Saturday at Fairyhouse, and it's just one horse you need to note it down, guys. The Big Westerner. The Big Westerner, who was meant to run a cork last Sunday, was pulled out of the race as a non-runner based on the ground. She could be lining up here in this beginner's chase for Henry de Bromhead and Darrow O'Keefe. Hopefully rides at Fairyhouse at 11:36 on Saturday. So the first beginner's chase on the card involves the Big Westerner. So I think Jimmy the Soy for Willie Mullins is entered as well. Not sure if he's declared. I'll have to wait and see on that. But the Big Westerner, I hope, will take a slot this Saturday in her first race over fences, in her first chase start, and hopefully she can go deliver. I did put it up as my anti-post pick, my first anti-post pick for the Cheltenham Festival this season in the Browns. Hopefully she can win this on her way to running in that race. So they're the three on the others to note section this week, guys. Harbour Island at Newbury, the opening race there. Hopefully he can do well and boost the form for my daddy Paddy. There's a 2 mile listed Fillies Juvenile Hurdle race that may produce a good winner. And on Saturday, the same day, but on Saturday at Fairyhouse, 11:36, watch out for the big Westerner. Hopefully she can deliver and win her first race. On the show today, guys, is going to be my best bets part of the video, as I always do towards the end. So if you have zoomed forward and fast forwarded all through the timestamp, all through the video to this section, and wanted to see who I put up as my best bets for this weekend, I have two best bets for the weekend, and they both come on Newbury on Saturday. I do appreciate my best bets of late, and especially last weekend was shambolic, to be fair. They weren't very good. So this time around, I'm more bullish about these best bets this weekend than I have for a while on this channel, guys. So I only have 2, like I said, both on Newbury on Saturday. I'm very, very comfortable with both my selections. The first of which comes at 11:55 on Newbury, the first race on the card, and it's going to be a horse called Kingston Queen in the listed Class 1 Mares Novices Hurdle over 2 miles and half a furlong. She has been backed in. I did back her early on this morning at 4-1. She's now come in for a bit of support to 100-30. I think she is tailor-made for this race at Newbury. She won her first race of the season earlier this month at Chepstow in a maiden hurdle. Beat a horse called Cryptic Jim, who is a gelding. He went on and bolted up in his maiden hurdle win at Ascot last Saturday. So the form reads well from that. But there's also a good piece of forms from her bumper season as well. So you need to check out her bumper form from last season, Kingston Queen. She runs for David Pipe. Jack Tudor will ride. Like I said, there's good level of form to Kingston Queen's name from last season. Just check it out on Racing Post, Sporting Life, whatever you guys do with your research on your form. But Kingston Queen will be my first best bet of the weekend at Newbury, 11:55 in the Mares Novices Hurdle, a listed race, of course. And then my second best bet is a horse that's reappearing again in my best video, guys. I'm putting him up this week, and I hope he runs, because I hope he'll win the Coral Cup at the Cheltenham Festival at the end of the season. French Ship. You're in there again, my boy. 9-2 in the 140 at Newbury on Saturday. In the 2 mile, 4.5 handicap hurdle, class 2 from 0 to 145 rated horses. He's off a mark of 136. I still think there's a fair bit to go in his rating. I'm certain he's going to run the Coral Cup if he does run well here and wins this race and goes up in the ratings again. You want a horse in the Coral Cup at the festival that is roughly 140 rated. That's probably where the majority of the winners in the past few seasons have been rated, in the 140, mid 140s. And I think if Friendship wins this, he'll go up to 144, 145, and that'll be perfect for him for the festival. So let's hope Friendship can deliver on Saturday. He's going to be my second best bet of the weekend. Currently at 9-2. Harry Cobden rides for Philip Hobbs and Johnson White, and I think he'll win the race. So they're my 2. Kingston Queen, Friendship. If you want to put them in a double, it's up to you. My selections will be a 4-1 Kingston Queen, like I said, and Friendship roughly the same price, but 9-2. Hopefully they can go deliver this week. And that's everything from the latest weekly episode, the weekly edition of the Cheltenham Countdown channel here, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed previewing Newbury, Newcastle and Fairyhouse, giving you all my views on this week's episode. Next week is all about the Tingle Creek at Sandown, the grade 1 there. I love that grade 1 at Sandown. The grade 2 mile division is going to be blown open, we think, with the likes of Elette Temple, the Sud, even John Bond going to that race. Who is going to prevail in the Sandown conditions on that day in the Tingle Creek? That's the next grade 1 next weekend to preview on next week's episode. For now, thanks for watching this episode so much. If you have watched it again in full, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Like the video if you really have enjoyed. Comment any of your views or comment your best bets. Comment what you thought of the rebound. Comment your tips for the whole weekend. Anything you want to comment, I will respond to it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. It massively helps me and massively boosts my small channel. I do this as a hobby and I absolutely love it. So thank you very much. See you next week, and thanks for watching.